The once beautiful and colorful land known as the Pride Lands was completely unrecognizable after a long era of hunger and submission. Scar marked an important but dark time in the history of the Pride. Long years of dictatorship that he ended up paying in the worst of ways. Ultimately, his manipulative habits paradoxically became the cause of his own doom. Zira, mate and most devoted follower of Scar, promised herself to avenge his death. But she didn't know the killers were the hyenas, not the real heir of the throne, Simba. By now, a new age had started, the age of Simba's pride. The Pride Lands had now returned to what they once were, the safest and most prosperous territory, with a very lively wildlife and the happiest inhabitants. And whilst Zira and her followers were known for hating Simba, they never caused any major problem and were allowed to stay in the Pride. For them, it was not worth the risk of being expelled and experience hunger once again. Not much time had passed, and Nala was already expecting a son. One of the most important events was coming. Simba's firstborn represented the victory of the Circle of Life, till finally the day came. Each one of the Pride Lands inhabitants showed up at the ceremony, and then Rafiki raised the cab towards the sky. The heir was revealed. He was a male lion whose name was Kopa. Kopa was raised very cautiously and with values since the beginning of his life. He developed a strong respect for his parents and used to play mostly with his father, as there were no other cubs of his age in the Pride. This was the case until one morning. 3 lions came in peace from another Pride, 2 adult lions and a cub. Zazu promptly referred the newcomers to Simba, who, to his surprise, immediately recognized both lions. They were Malka, old, brief foster brother of Simba, and Tama, Nala's childhood best friend. Both explained they had to migrate from their pride temporarily due to a sudden flood that made the zone inhabitable. While Simba and the lions were talking, Kopa woke up and walked out of the cave. The first thing he saw? The lion cub. Finally, someone like me, he thought. The 2 lions instantly became best friends, and things went fluently for both. The great times and days of playing made a few get over the sadness caused by the loss of his home, and gave Kopa a very good friend with who he had the most fun with. Maybe too much fun, as they started coming home late and get too far too often. However, they never dared to step out of the Pride Lands, as it was strictly prohibited by their parents. Nonetheless, Simba wasn't very happy with their carelessness. One day, the 2 cubs, Kopa and Afua, went to explore new lands of the Pride. While this was not their first time doing it, there was a difference. They decided to go further than they ever did. After some scouting, they found something that made the 2 cubs stop and stare. It was a cave in the middle of an uninhabited land. The strange thing about this cave, however, was not the cave itself, but the voices that came from inside. Kopa and Afua were too scared to go into it and take a look, and it was getting late, so they returned to Pride Rock. But the question persisted inside their head. What was hiding inside the cave? The next day, Kopa and Afua started their day like nothing. They didn't mention anything from the day earlier, but this did not continue for long. The two friends, just as if they read each other's minds, instinctively ran towards the mysterious cave. Shortly before reaching their destination, they found something totally unexpected. There was another cub. A female cub, apparently. She was walking in the distance, so they couldn't see very well, but it seemed like she was following someone's orders coming from inside of the cave. The unknown female cub noticed Kopa and Afua and stared at them with a face of surprise for a brief moment, before quickly running back inside. The two best friends remained confused and speechless. Not long after, they went on with their day, and as always returned to Pride Rock before sunset, where Kopa couldn't stop thinking about what or who he had